Good morning, folks. Ron here. It is the 18th of January, Saturday, 2025, and I thought I would make a video concerning the 28th Amendment. And came to my attention yesterday morning that the President Biden had established the 28th Amendment. And I was like, what? So, and then I saw like Gillibrand and Klobuchar and the senators and Harris all coming out saying, voila, equal rights amendment has been brought to the 28th Amendment. And so the Dodd decision from the Supreme Court is invalid and blah, 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 blah. Dobb, I mean. These people, and I'm talking about Democrats, but I think it might even be the 20-something liberal Gen Zers that are in the White House currently, have been running the White House for the last 4 years, because the resident certainly doesn't know what time of day it is, let alone anything about the 28th Amendment. But he'll tell you, well, I've been fighting it for 50 years. Well, that might be the case, but it is still an issue. So, the Article 5 of the Constitution lays out how amendments to our Constitution are created. And you start off with a proposal process. Well, this requires 2/3 of both houses or 2/3 of the several states in order to propose an amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Article 5. Once the article has been proposed by 2/3 of either the House and Senate or the several states, which would be 33 states in today's state count, then it goes out for ratification process. The ratification process requires a 3/4 majority pass, which is to the several states, which is 38 states. And in the case of the ERA, or the Equal Rights Amendment, it was brought forward in 1972. Okay, so the original was brought forward in 1972, and the exact date was March 22nd, 1972. Now, Congress does not have to. In fact, the 27th Amendment, which is the last amendment in the Constitution that had been ratified, was actually written back in I believe it was sometime in I'm looking it up here. It was actually 1789. But it did not have a date limit put on by Congress to be ratified within X time frame. So it wasn't ratified until 1992, I believe. Yeah, 1992. So just a few years. Anyway, so the 28th Amendment was March 22nd of 1972, and they put a 7-year expiration date on it, they being Congress. And then they extended it to June 30th of 1982. So, here's the deal. Congress put an expiration time frame for ratification. It did not occur by 1982, the 30th day. If they wanted to change that expiration date, they would have had to have done so prior to that date, June 30th, 1982. Had they not, then the expiration date occurs, then It's finito. It is done. In order to do an amendment at that process, it has to start all over again. You have the archivists, which are the individuals for the National Archives that record the processes of an amendment. Even they have stated that there is no certification of the actual ratification of the 28th Amendment. So, everyone at the upper echelon of the Democrat Party, from Biden to several senators, Democrat senators, are lying to you. They're either lying to you or they are absolute idiots to what the Constitution is. Okay? There is no 28th Amendment. Congress would have had to act before the expiration date to either remove the expiration date or to extend the expiration date. Otherwise, it has to begin over. Now, you'll hear from the left, oh, it's still under litigation, well, this, that, and the other. And then you heard the resident yesterday talk about, well, we worked with the several constitutional scholars. Anytime I hear that, I automatically think, who? Who in a constitutional scholar would tell you that this was okay? You're gaslighting the American people just to try and put a little gotcha into the Dobbs decision by the Supreme Court, and you're trying to make it sound like, okay, you can go out and sue now for women's rights and blah, blah, blah. That's not true. Pure and simple. In order, I mean, anybody can figure this out. Pick up this thing, this thing called the Constitution of the United States of America, and you go to the Article 5 of the Constitution. I'm sorry. And I'll read it to you. Article 5 of the Constitution. It's not that long. It's an entire paragraph. There's not even sections to it. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution. Or, now I have been on for years. People know that I've talked about the Convention of States. I've talked about Article 5 early on in my YouTubes and so on. On the applications of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which in either case, both houses or the several states, shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions of 3/4 thereof, meaning either the several states or a representation of 3/4 thereof. And there wasn't. Virginia ratified it in 2020. There's just a few years between 1982 and 2020. It's completely moot. Do not believe it. Trust me. What they're looking to try and do now is they're trying to tell you that the 28th has been passed. And they've even, some senators have even invited you to start lawsuits against the processes that was handed down because of the Supreme Court reversal of Roe v. Wade with the Dobbs decision. So don't believe it. Pure and simple, don't believe it. Tell your friends, tell your families, listen, they lied to you for 4 years. Well, a lot more than that, but for at least the last 4 years. And now on the 11th hour, they suddenly have this amendment that makes our 28th Amendment. If I pick up my Constitution in print and I try to look and see what the last amendment is in the list of amendments, it's the 27th Amendment. Okay? Do not believe them. They are gaslighting you. And then when when the Trump administration is placed, they're going to come in and they're going to tell you that, see Trump, he's a bad guy. He ended the 28th. Don't believe it. Not for a minute. God bless all of you. Looking forward to Monday. Keep your heads on a swivel until then. I understand that they've made some changes. They've canceled the parade. They've canceled the outside. To me, this is an indication that something big is up. But that's just my opinion. Y'all have a great day. God bless you, and God bless the United States.